Well, hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. We got another beautiful 70-degree day here. We're at Clark and Fullerton. See how these buildings mirror each other? We show this because I often start and end my lives around here. You see the detailing here. These buildings were built in the 1910s. And look at that nice detailing there with the cornice. I think it used to extend beyond the urban outskirts. You see how they mirror each other here. This glazed tile is the same as this. And this is Clark and Fullerton. Here's the 22 bus. And I'm just gonna tootle around the neighborhood here. How's everybody doing here? Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Clark Street. We're south of Fullerton here. We'll just go over towards Armitage. That's a nice commercial strip that I like to go down. Often we'll go down there on TikTok in the mornings or in the evenings if I stream, but I thought instead of going to the zoo, we'll just tootle the neighborhood here. Prince, how you doing there? Margie, Sharon, thanks for tuning in. Hope everybody's having a happy Friday here. Yeah, Anatolia. This used to be a Thai restaurant. Now it's a Mediterranean restaurant. Here's the Big Apple Finer Foods. I like showing this sign here. This alley goes behind the. Oh, look at that detailing there. But here, look at this sign here, Big Apple Finer Foods. I've shopped here for years. I'm not shopping here much recently. I should do it more often. They got me through the pandemic. They got a nice meat market here. Big Apple Finer Foods here. So yeah, we you know, my long-term friends and followers, I know you've seen this stuff a million times, and I never get tired of talking about it or showing it here. I'll there's that chime there. I try to lower the volume there. I still need to figure out why that chime's happening if I'm going to stream here on YouTube. I've tried everything I can. I guess I got to talk to McRae to see how to turn off that chime. And I think it's a sound. I think it has something to do with people that subscribe or follow me or something. So I should pay attention to their message. Here's the, which is good. That's a good thing. Here's the Pharaohs here, Reby Moving and Storage. There's a truck right here, so that's why. Oh, they're backing up here, so we'll get out of the way here. But here, let's go down and see this is this Cobb and Frost building, and Jennifer You Should Eat always talks about it here. Let me do it some justice here. I actually pulled it up here. See, this is the corner. Jeff, how you doing there? Margie, MLC. It's called Anatolia. I think that's what it's called. Is that right? Is that correct? Am I saying it right? So this is called the Cobden. It's a residential apartment building, still lived in to this day. It was originally an apartment building with the commercial storefront. People sometimes wave to me from the windows here when I walk by. It's a Richardsonian Romanesque, and it was designed by Charles Sumner Frost, the architect. Charles Sumner Frost. If that sounds familiar, he was the architect that designed the Potter Palmer mansion there that was destroyed there in the Gold Coast. He worked for the firm of Henry Ives Cobb, who was also an architect, and they influenced each other there. So here we are at Clark and Belden. See, you got the nice turret there on this building. But here, I'll zoom in and show you. Jeff, thanks for watching from Arkansas there. MBT, how you doing there? Matty Poo, how you doing? That's you tuning in from Florida. That's great. Thanks, Matty. How you doing there? Yeah, look at this beautiful building. You remember this building? You know exactly where it's at here. It's right here at. See, I crossed against the light there. I'm all discombobulated today because I didn't get my beauty sleep last night. See, they got these terracotta pieces here, and this is Charles Sumner Frost is the architect, and we'll show it here on the side here. Ari, how you doing? They're tuning in from Brooklyn. Yeah. I know the Dunkin' Donuts. I know. So yeah, be careful this Dunkin' Donuts. When my cousin Matt was visiting me here. See, here's where we're at. So if you're looking at where we're at here, this is Fullerton. This is Clark. North is this way. The lake's here. This is all Lincoln Park. Downtown's this way. Last night we were way up at Montrose Beach. Yeah, Matt and I tried to go here And they basically, they said, we don't have coffee, we don't have donuts, we don't have anything. And we're like, we just walked straight out. We're like, okay, why even be open? You know, and I understand that I guess that was over 4th of July there. And it's got to be hard working for a place that doesn't have the supplies there. Here's the Cobden. See, look at that. Look at that. It's almost like Dutch. But see, it's got these nice, look, the sun's coming out just in time so we can show off this terracotta. Look at the detailing of the Cobden here. Charles Sumner Frost, the architect, 1892. It's amazing how many well-built buildings were built in that period between 1888 and 1892. And it was the build-up, the boom period before the World's Columbian Exposition in 1893, and then there was a recession in that time, and that's when the Pullman strike happened, and it curtailed buildings, development until later, these boom and bust periods that we always have with development. But here we're on Belton Street here. Sun came out. Now it's starting to warm up a little bit. It's probably upper 70s. So you got these nice apartment courtyard buildings. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Lincoln Park here. I'm just taking a little stroll. See, Matt, you remember walking down these nice streets. Isn't it so nice to just be able to walk? And you and your friend there, you took a nice walk all the way over to Logan Square. And you saw the band there playing at the river. The band plays on that concrete bumper there. And I'm glad you saw that. I have still yet to catch that on any of my live streams there. Jeff, how you doing there? Richard. Yeah, used to live in the suburbs. Hey, you missed the deep dish. Well, hey, Chicago misses you. Look at this is and it took me years to figure this out. I lived here, I would walk by this, I wouldn't pay it any attention. This is a Louis Sullivan building. If you know architecture, and especially in Chicago, Louis Sullivan was a very important architect in Chicago. He hired a young apprentice named Frank Lloyd Wright that worked for Louis Sullivan. Louis Sullivan influenced Frank Lloyd Wright. This is some of his earlier work. This is Ann Halstead lived here. We often talk about the Ann Halstead row houses on Lincoln Park West, which is south of here. And this is a residential building. And yeah, Louis Sullivan there. That's good. So hey, that might be their place there. So we'll keep on going here. They're like, why is this guy filming? It's architecturally significant. Oh, they're just delivering the mail there. That's good. So look at the, all these townhomes here. We'll just head down Belton Street and we'll head over towards the CTA elevated train tracks there that run between Armitage and Fullerton. And we'll tootle around there. No, I did not do a live stream this morning. I did about 5 minutes. I am very angry with TikTok. And please, if you subscribe to me on TikTok, I really appreciate it. Please don't renew your membership for September. It's good. Thanks for bringing that up. I'm still going to continue live streaming. I've made the decision. I've been, this has been going on for almost 2 years since I was originally banned from TikTok. And I was very appreciative of TikTok for not banning me for the last 2 years and letting me grow my audience of just walking around Chicago, walking to work here, showing the architecture and the cultural events but TikTok's changing their terms and conditions, and anytime any corporation changes their terms and conditions, us as the user of their application, we can choose not to agree to them. And they've changed them so much that I don't want to just simply check the box and agree to them. We have an outlet here on YouTube. I'm still going to maintain a presence on TikTok. I'm not deleting my account. I'm still going to post reruns there. But if you enjoy my live streams, and I'm glad you're watching here. Hey, look at the Taylors here. I'm glad you're watching here on YouTube. This works just as well. And we got 130 people watching here on YouTube. It took me 2 years of streaming every day, weekdays over the lunchtime, to finally build up our YouTube audience. We've gained over 1,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube in just the past 28 days, past month. And we'll see what happens when TikTok rolls out this new M2 and forces everybody. People like my cousin Matt, he doesn't even have TikTok. Not as many people, we got a vast audience, and like in India, for example, they cannot watch on TikTok. And sometimes people tune in from India here. This is great. So here, look at this nice building here, 529. And look at that detail. See? Look at the lights. Just a beautiful day. Look how the lights filtering through here. Thanks for tuning in here. Thanks for watching. Anita's tuning in. Mia, Jeff, Chris, Sheridan, Lambie T, Tom. Yeah. And there's things about TikTok I will not miss, like the battles. I will not miss. Hey, look at this spider web. You don't have to tap the screen. You know, maybe some people like. I think you know. I get tired of tapping the screen there too. It's just they condition us to, you know, run down the battery on our phones there, tapping the screen. Here's the cicadas. So here, welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Belden Street. Here we got a beautiful 75-degree day here. What is it? August the 22nd. Thanks to everybody who tuned in last night. Can you believe I'm not lying here. I had no idea. I completely forgot about the dinner en blanc that they have every year around August 21st. It's a worldwide event. We've seen it before. I just happened to ride a bike up to Montrose Beach because I wanted to show the nature bird sanctuary in the dunes area there. There's like a small little tiny dunes area there that they're letting form. And I picked the right spot because they were having dinner en blanc there, and it's a secret location. They usually don't release the location, even people that go to it, until the day of, and they were setting up there, and so I got the scoop there. And even though I'm not on the list there, we got to see people walking up all dressed in their whites there. The band was playing. It was a beautiful scene, beautiful weather, so thanks. You can check that out on TikTok. I hope to transfer the footage over to YouTube for a short on YouTube because it deserves it. Here's this beautiful car. We've seen this car. I think Matt's even seen this car. Here's the this car drives around. I've seen it drive down the street. It's street legal. It's a classic car. They like it in the unfinished position, unfinished. Park it on the street there. But look at these beautiful buildings here on Belden Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Is that really cool? Yeah, thanks for checking out. Yeah, the Sullivan house. Do you see that ad music? Yeah, on Belden Street, there's a Louis Sullivan. It's one of his earlier works, and that's why it probably doesn't get a lot of recognition, because it was just a simple residence, just like some of Frank Lloyd Wright's earlier work that we checked out in Kenwood and Hyde Park on the south side. It's more neo-traditional because when they were starting in their career, they had to do what the client wanted. The client wanted stuff. They didn't make a name for themselves and didn't want their signature prairie style or more modernist style. And Louis Sullivan pretty much died penniless and almost in obscurity, and it wasn't until later that people rediscovered his work as his buildings were being torn down and as they were being salvaged by Richard Nickel, who lost his life in historic preservation, saving Louis Sullivan's stock exchange building in downtown Chicago. Look at these. Look at that brickwork. Thanks for looking. Better Homes and Gardens. See, Better Homes and Gardens. There you got the garden apartment. You go up here, they got a little free library. You see these all over the city. Very nice. And look, see, you decorate your little median. They got the bugs. This is why I call this Better Homes and Gardens. You get ideas about how to do a lot with a small space. They got this little small yard there. Look at that. You don't even have to mow the lawn. And here we'll head over to Lincoln here. We'll go, Matt, if you're still tuning in, we'll go by one of your favorite places to eat in Chicago, Johnny's. We'll go to Johnny's there. You can get your Italian beef. And now there, of course, there's a Johnny's in Elmwood Park, and that's different. That's even better Italian beef there. You go to Johnny's in Elmwood Park, but there's a Johnny's here in Lincoln, in Lincoln here in Chicago. Yeah, isn't this a beautiful? That's why I like showing this street, isn't it? You know, why do you think I fell in love with this area, even though it's so expensive? Just to be able to, it's free to walk down the street, go to the cafe here, set out. Look, all these people got their laptops here on a beautiful day, Friday. You got this nightmare. We saw the artist painting this mural when they added this building here. And here we're at the six-way intersection of Lincoln, Belden, and is this Orchard? Yeah, Orchard. So here we'll wait to cross here. So there's the new housing with the Children's Hospital. There's the Bad Apple. There it is. There's Johnny's. There you go. You getting hungry there, Matt? I don't know if you're still tuning in there. There it is. Yeah, it looks like the London the suburbs. That's not bad. We'll take it. Here's the Halligan's Soloway Cafe. See these beautiful triangle buildings. This is a nice commercial strip. See how they got the nice seating there. How you doing? And you got a cat. I think that's the Heroes sandwich shop there. Now it feels like it's 80 degrees. It feels really hot all of a sudden. Here we'll cross the street. Oops, here comes the cars. Speeding up. Yeah, all the trees. Tree-covered streets. Yeah, Matt, you want some Johnny's there? Your mouth watering? Yeah, they got the what else do they got? They got the Fruity Pebble shake there. You can get the Euro sandwich. So good, but it's so unhealthy. But we eat it anyway there, Johnny's. Hey, it's boba time. Boba time. We come up by Cilantro's. There's Souffle Lights. There's the cat. So what time we got here? 12:14. Friday, Chicago. Thanks for tuning. If you missed it yesterday, we went up to Wrigley Field and walked around. The Cubs lost, but it was still an exciting time. People were... What a beautiful day to see a ball game there, even though Milwaukee's got a good team. We saw a lot of Brewers fans. We interacted with some people. It was a good time. Looks seems like London. Yeah, this is Chicago. Yeah, Johnny's Elmwood Park. You know it there. Yeah. So where's all the thugs and gangs there? You're disappointed that you don't see any? You know, the land of the lost here, Burling and Belden. Yeah, we get that comment every single day, and I understand that our reputation precedes itself. We're not going to deny it. This is the big bad city. What are you or me or the president, anybody gonna do? I see what's happening in Washington D.C. Bring in the troops. Bring in the troops. Here's, look at that. Look at the nice little, hey, look at these bugs. Look at these little bugs. Oh, the happy bugs there. How you doing there? Look at that. Yeah. See, little things like this bring me happiness. I don't know why. I'm easily amused here. See, Better Homes. I got the gnome there, the little rabbit. Yeah, I like how the light hits these buildings here. Yeah. Hey, at least the stock market's up. Is it? Everybody's so happy, you know, except for me. I'm the only person in the world that wants the stock market to go down, because it just means more corporate power to take over and ruin our politics. So, government of the corporations, by the corporations, for the corporations. Thank you, Jerome Powell, for making the world safe for corporations and tax cuts and full employment. So here's DePaul. Yeah, this is all DePaul University here. There's the music center there. Oh, Bob Costas is giving the eulogy. Oh, Chris, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, you remember when we saw them unveil the, thanks for being on, Chris. You saw when they unveiled the Ryan Sandberg statue last year, June the 23rd, 2024. We were standing next to Ronnie Woo Woo. I got the video proof on TikTok. We got reruns. I can transfer it over to YouTube. But yeah, Bob Costas gave the eulogy for Ryan Sandberg, and they were friends, knew each other. Bob Costas called the Sandberg game there in '84 or '83, whenever that happened. And yeah, we'll miss Ryan Sandberg there. We saw the statue there yesterday, along with Ron Santo. He's next to Ron Santo and Ernie Banks and Billy Williams and Fergie Jenkins. So here's the more Richardsonian Romanesque. This is Belden Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Thanks for tuning in. See, DePaul University's all over there. I never noticed there's a crazy sculpture there. Look, there's a crazy sculpture there next to that tree. It's in behind the fence there. That's the music center, and there's a chapel there. That's when there was a seminary. There used to be a seminary there before it was DePaul University. Yeah, it's just scary for Lost. What in the world doesn't require risk? You know, I don't care where you go, you travel, you travel on the interstates there, ride a motorcycle, it's dangerous, you know. A lot of things we do are dangerous, you know, and, you know, people want to make their points. Philadelphia. You love staying here in Chicago. And Antoine, how you doing there? Yeah, thanks. Boomer. Let's see. Yeah, full unemployment. So, isn't it interesting that at the same time, many of us, including me and many Chicagoans that are worried about the price of housing and inflation in Chicago, you see how full employment and an ever-rising stock market leads to inflation in housing and everything. And so we can't have it both ways. You know, we got a booming stock market and asset prices, housing's holding steady, and yes, there's inflation, and it hurts the people at the bottom more than the top. The top's doing better than ever. The top loves inflation because they have assets that get inflated and increases their wealth. We have a president that's very wealthy. Inflation doesn't seem to bother him that much. He would rather go to lower interest rates even if we have inflation. The Federal Reserve's like, I don't know, you know, do we want to devalue our currency even more? Because all currencies have been devalued since the pandemic. All central banks have printed money. Well, so if you just tuned in, we're near DePaul University. We're just south of DePaul University, which goes along Fullerton. We're on Belton Street and Fremont. We'll see the CTA elevated train tracks here, and maybe we'll get some. That's the Fullerton stop on the red, purple, and brown line stops, and that's where you get off for DePaul University, north side of Chicago. We're showing this expensive Lincoln Park, and I know it's the wealthy side of the city, and people shame me for showing it every day. They're like, stop showing that stuff. We want to see the blight and the crime and the homelessness, and so we can feel better about ourselves by looking down on Chicago. I get it. They don't want to see this, but other people, most of my audience wants to see this. It's just mainly me just walking down the street, giving you the feel of walking around a beautiful residential neighborhood here. I call it better homes and gardens, things like this, where, you know, they got a geodesic dome made out of bicycle wheels, and this is DePaul University maintains this community garden here, and it's right here at this is Bissell Street, south of Belton. We're heading towards Webster and Bissell, Webster and Bissell. Yeah, very interesting. T-Line, thanks everybody for watching me on YouTube. Yeah, I plan to do more live streaming on YouTube, and so if you enjoy my live streams on TikTok, you're in the right place here, because I'm preparing for the whatever's going to happen in September there. Here's, look at that. You got the keyhole window, beautiful porch there. You got a cornice and a gable. Look at these well-balanced townhomes here. And this is on, see, I like urban design, you know, and it's just, even though this is a, you know, like we show Over the Rhine in Cincinnati, Louisville, Kentucky has a lot of beautiful walkable neighborhoods like this. There might be more space between the buildings, but not in Over the Rhine, Cincinnati. They're right next to each other like this, with less trees. At least we got the tree medians here. Hey, see, cicadas, how you doing there? Tea time, teal time. You hear that chime? Yeah, see, there's a chime. And I think it has something to do with people that subscribe or benefactors to this. When they make a comment, I need to pay attention with that chime, because it means they're a supporter of my content. I need to listen to their comments. It's good. That's why every once in a while you hear a little chime. It's a signal for me to look at the screen. New Mexico, how you doing there? Yeah. Yeah, we went. Okay, so I know. Thanks for letting me know what you want to see. You know, I choose my own routes, and we were on Burling Street earlier this week on TikTok. Burling Street there's some huge ones on Burling Street. That's why it's not my favorite street piece. I like these historic ones more. There's a lot of tear down rebuilds and big, huge mods. So we'll go down to Armitage here. Here, we'll get the train going by. Here's the home slice. But yeah, Burling's beautiful, yeah. Yeah, the sound of the trains. How you doing? Yeah, I'm coming back. How you doing? Thanks for saying hello. Home Slice, how you doing? Yeah.
Shout out Home Slice.
Yeah. People ask about this when I walk by. I just was catching the train. Thanks for saying hello. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate you, especially when I'm not working.
Yeah.
I watch you and you're like down the street.
I don't have to get out of my place.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to be live streaming primarily on YouTube because I don't like the new terms and conditions at TikTok. They're going to roll out. They're really going to start cracking down on live streamers. I have my theories. From my perspective, I deal with it every day, and it's getting worse. So I'm going to YouTube. I know YouTube has problems too, but thanks for watching. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's good. So hey, that's good. Home Slice. Yeah, check it out here. The nice staff here.
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube now. I'm usually on TikTok on Brian Really Chicago. How you doing? I'm just walking around. I'm switching to YouTube because TikTok's terms and conditions are changing and they're getting worse. So from my perspective, from a live stream. But thank you. Appreciate it. It's good. Here's the train. Home Slice. So hey, while I'm here, I'll show you the mother church for DePaul University. It's a beautiful church, this nice little commercial strip on Webster. See, they got the murals. There used to be, a long time ago, there was like 100 years ago, there was a train stop there. They had more train stops when the trains were shorter, and there was a train station right here that's been gone for 80 years. Oh yeah. But here we'll head through here. Here's the McGee's. Here's McGee's, a nice bar here, DePaul bar, and as is Kelly's Pub there. Hey, jammin' honey, friends and neighbors. Man of the people, Antoine, how you doing there, Chris? Michael, I think I thank you. I was coming back from the Armitage Fest there in May, and we saw them sitting out. Built around the turn of the century. They actually improved it, and then the DePaul University started there. Just like Loyola University started where the Holy Family Church is on Roosevelt, and then DePaul University bought the seminary and then expanded up that way and got larger. And so this is Sheffield, DePaul, Mother Church here. We'll cross through it. Sheffield and Webster. We'll head down this way. We'll go back to Bissell here. Yeah, friends and neighbors, I feel more connected to my community. Watch the train come by here. But I like that we're getting more traction on YouTube. Let's see how far we can go with this YouTube. I'll still maintain a presence on TikTok. I'm letting people know. I still streamed last night and yesterday morning on TikTok. I think I'm going to take off tonight. You know why? Because there's a, this weekend, at Millennium Park, they're having the House Music Festival. They had it in June last year for 40 years of house music. This is the 41st year of house music in Chicago we're celebrating. And they're going to have Saturday and Sunday, they're going to have the House Music Festival. And there's also Greek Fest going on. So either tomorrow or Sunday, there's a chance. I don't know, Chris, what you're doing, if you're heading in the city or not. Well, we'll talk about that, but offline. But there's that chime there. How you doing there? Nana Blue, how you doing there? Boone is in town too. Boone, okay. Where are they playing at? Are they having a concert? Do you know the venue where Boone's going to be playing? Thanks for the good information there, Nana Blue. Larry. Again, I don't have much money to travel. I don't have much money. Why is there this perception that just because I'm a live streamer with a big following, one of the reasons I'm leaving and moving to the YouTube pays much better than TikTok, and I hardly make any money from TikTok, and I don't have money to travel. I wanted to go to New Orleans last winter and show live stream in New Orleans, but largely it's because I'm trying to short the stock market, and all my money's invested in that, and it's like today I lost a lot of money today. I lost a lot of money, but I didn't sell. I just have to keep supporting my position. And I have a major beef against corporate America skewing our politics, both to the left or the right. We saw examples of how it was used to change people's behavior on the left. People felt canceled from the left. Corporate America supported that there was corporate, like Larry Fink was investing in woke investing, so people would feel good about their investments if it was like, you know, diverse or supporting like women CEOs and stuff. And then people rejected that, and they said, what's this big billionaire trying to tell us how to do investment? Now it's swing to the other way, where the current administration is investing in like Intel, like mixing government money with private money, and using the cudgel of people, you know, like threatening to investigate Tesla if they don't support the party line there, and in their government contracts. You know, there's a lot of carrots and sticks going on. So here, let's stop talking about that. I want to talk about Bissell Street. I want to talk about this beautiful architecture here, historic architecture. This is an historic district. Bissell and Fremont have an historic district of, these are multi-family. This is like a 9 flat. They got 6 flats, 4 flats. You see all these buildings look the same. Look at the cornice there. These were all built in the 1870s, 1880s. And this is some of the oldest housing. And it was built after the Great Chicago Fire. And there are a few houses that, like the policeman Bellinger's house on Hudson, that survived the Great Chicago Fire, that was built in 1870 maybe. There's that chime there. Antoine. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the history of Chicago. Look at this beautiful street here. See the train tracks are right behind it. The elevated tracks were not built until 1900. So these buildings were here before that. They used the alley. They used their alley. Imagine that. Imagine if you lived in these buildings and someone bought the right of way, the air rights to the alley behind you, and you have a train running right in where it used to be your backyard. And but this is Bissell Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. So these houses are older than the L tracks behind here. And there were trolley lines that would go up Halstead and maybe Sheffield. I'm not for sure. I need to research that. But see how you can go one. Look, Better Homes and Gardens there. You can go one way. There's two below, and there's this side and this side. This is like a 4 flat. You have 4 flats, 6 flats, and 9 flats. And thanks for tuning in. Chicago, Bissell Street. We're down by Dickens, 2100 block. See, Bissell and Dickens. Yeah, you invest. So here, there's a bike lane, a 2-way bike lane here. And yeah, we'll head down to Armitage. There's an ice cream shop over here that's pretty popular. They said the line was down the street there when the Air and Water Show was going on. It's a tinkle sound, yeah. Ivana, put down your glasses. Ivana tinkle. There's look at that beautiful porch. Look how the ivy even goes up the railing there. Look at that. Bissell Street, south of Dickens. See, that's a infill. That's a newer building. These are vintage buildings. Look at this. Look how this porch sticks out there. Where do you get stuff like that? You know, look at that. And these places decorate so nicely for the holidays. We walk through here on Halloween and Christmas, and a lot of these will have nice decorations here. Yeah, ring the bell. So many trees. I thought I found a way to turn that down, and apparently I failed once again. So I'm still working on I'm trying to turn that chime down because you can hear it on the reruns. But it's good because it forces me to look at the screen, and it's a comment from somebody that has supported me, and I appreciate that. So it's a good chime. It's like ringing the cash register there for people supporting good content, and I appreciate that. Like, treat this like PBS. I know I'm not Jeffrey Bear, but I've learned a lot from watching them there and other Chicago live streamers. But here, welcome to Chicago, Lincoln Park, Bissell Street. We're almost down to Armitage. We got 1234, and sometimes we go all the way down to that park where there's a closed passageway underneath the subway ramp that goes down for the Red Line. They must have built that in the 40s and 50s. But here, this is the Armitage stop on the brown and purple line. The red line does not stop here, it goes express. Here, we'll cross the street here because there's and that's homemade Italian ice, premium ice cream. This is a great place if you like Italian ice cream, milkshakes, smoothies. And here comes, here you can go right up to the window here. Here, Chris, look at all the flavors here, and that's, yeah. So here, Armitage and Bissell. So the rain, thanks for asking there, I appreciate that. So you could subscribe to my YouTube, similar to you could use to be able to subscribe to my TikTok. McCrae mentioned some things. I also have my PayPal still works. You can PayPal me directly if you want to cut out the middleman. Like if you want me to give me $1 or $2 or 50 cents or anything. More of the money goes to me if you go through PayPal, because if you go through YouTube or TikTok, YouTube and TikTok take a cut, and even Apple takes a cut, even though we're not on Apple. Isn't that so weird? Because of how the App Store works, that Apple will take a cut from both YouTube and TikTok, because you might be watching this on an Apple phone with an, you downloaded your TikTok through a Apple Store. But hey, just by watching here, the best way you can support me if you like this is click that like button. It's free. Click the like button. Anytime you watch my lives and you like what I'm showing there, please click that like button there on YouTube. That helps push so more people can see my content. That's the #1 metric, and McCrae told me that, of how you get, how people, it's like tapping the screen on TikTok. You just have to hit it once. It's free. You just click that thumbs up. And thanks for tuning in. Here's the Aldine. Okay, see this building, Aldine? This is the Old Town School of Folk Music. Let's cross the street here so we could film it here. Hey, thank you. There it is. Look at that beautiful corner here, the Old Town School of Folk Music. See, kids and adults, you can sign up for classes, family jam. They'll hook you up with a good group of people. Old Town School of Folk Music here in Lincoln Park. Used to be down on North Avenue. That's the one where Pete Seeger and Mahalia Jackson, legendary folk singers, played at that one. And then that one had a fire, so they moved up here. And then there's a larger one up in Lincoln Square, the Old Town School of Folk Music, here on Armitage, between Bissell and Fremont. And this is this nice commercial strip by the Armitage train station. Hopeful and blessed. Tara, how you doing there? Teal Time, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in, Scott. 3334. So I don't know that street off the top of my head. What neighborhood is that in? Thanks for tuning in there. See, we're in the 2000 block. We're the 2000. Armitage is 2000. So 33. That's not too far north of here. That's Fullerton's 24. Diversity's 28. So isn't that in Lakeview, or is that address in Lakeview, or is it across the river? Thanks for tuning in there. Hey, I like the flags there, Jimmy. Here's the Lush. And here's this beautiful commercial strip we have here. All these shops and stuff. Maison Parisienne. And then they got, so here we'll cross the street here. So here, this is Armitage looking east. This is Armitage looking west towards the train stop. And look at these beautiful, see those little cupolas. What is that called there? This one's got a hat. That's what Jennifer You Should Eat calls them. They got the hats. See those little cornices there. See, that one's nice too. You can see them on Halstead too. They got some with really pointy ones. But here, let's head up. Look at this. Look at this nice little this Hotel Chocolat. You can sit out here. Yeah, beautiful sunshine. What a beautiful day. Look at the so this is on Fremont Street. We're north of Armitage. We're just gonna head back here. And thanks for just letting me have a nice simple walk here to ease into the weekend. Yeah, like I said, this is Lincoln Park, Chicago. Wayne Jones, thank you, appreciate it. Hey, they're painting the rail there. Look how nice that is. Yeah, so tomorrow and Sunday they're having the House Music Festival in Millennium Park, right near the Bean there. They're also having the Greek Festival. There's some other music acts in town. And so I'm probably not going to stream on TikTok tonight. We streamed a really long time last night when we went to Montrose and I walked all the way back. I'm going to rest up my feet, so I'll have more energy to either tomorrow or Sunday, probably tomorrow most likely, head back downtown and we'll check out the, well, at least cruise by the House Music Festival. I had a hard time keeping my connection there in June. We'll see if it's better. I'll be doing that on YouTube. I'll be streaming. It'll be easy after September if we keep going this way. If you want to find me live streaming, look for me on YouTube. I'll still post reruns on TikTok. I'm not deleting my account unless they force me to. You know, they're going to try to force us all to re-download this new app, and the terms and conditions are going to be different. And we don't have to consent to them. If you know, you can be angry at me for not being live streaming on TikTok, but if you like my content, it's easy to, you're watching it right now on YouTube, and I appreciate that. And hey, you got the windows open. Look at that. So here, this is a Lutheran church. This is St. James Lutheran Church. Let's cross the street so we can show it here. And yeah, let's see, here we go. This is Fremont Street at, what is this, Dickens? Yeah. There it is. Here, let's go down just a little bit more. Hey, spider webs. What's shaking here? Yeah, Ernie knows. Ernie, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, sorry, I hope I didn't mess you up there yesterday. I know I shouldn't do that because I don't like it when people, yeah, I was watching you were catching the, yeah, watch Chicago Nuggies there, Ernie. He's on YouTube and TikTok, a fellow Chicago live streamer. Check him out there. You were filming the Buckingham Fountain with and I happened to see that, and I was like, and I saw Overtime Seb was on the Riverwalk because he was over by the Wrigley Building, and I just like, and I told Overtime Seb, and Overtime Seb was like, I'm about to shut off. He was going to Mariano's to do grocery shopping, and he just live streamed his walk over to do grocery shopping. But here's St. James Lutheran Church here in Chicago. And here, this is a nice little stretch here. I know somebody who asked me to go to Burling. Burling's nice. I want to show this on Fremont, and we'll do Burling some other day. But here's the, we did Burling like earlier this week, and that's why you missed it, and I don't expect you to be on all the time. I appreciate you watching now. Look at these Italianate, these are row houses on Fremont Street. Again, these were really early to this area, and you see how they look older than all this other housing. They're true working class row houses when they were built, and they're here in Lincoln Park. It shows how neighborhoods change over time, and now it's really the historic district preserved these. People invest in it and maintain them. And look, you got the nice front yards here. Hey, thanks, Taco. How you doing there? 76 degrees there, yeah. So here, that's good. So if you're interested in real estate values, please go to Zillow or some realtor.com or whatever. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not a real estate agent. People ask me all the time. I honestly don't know because I can't afford these, and so I don't even think about it. You know, and you know, it's a good question. We have this wonderful tool called the internet where you can just type in, you know, the zip code is 60614, Lincoln Park, Chicago. This is Fremont Street. This is called the Fremont Street row homes, historic district. It's in Lincoln Park. It's in between Webster and Dickens Street, the 2200 block of, 2130, 2100 block of Fremont Street. And you see how all these, they paint them different. A lot of these are newer across them. There's some older ones, but there's a lot of infill. These have been here for 150 years. Look at that, which is pretty old for north side of Chicago, which was mostly destroyed by the Great Chicago Fire. This was just beyond what was burnt. So they probably built these really quickly after the Great Chicago Fire on land that wasn't rubble. And Chicago grew really fast after that, especially in the 1880s, 1890s, because all the railroads still concentrated all the raw material for the Industrial Revolution, which happened in why Chicago and New York City grew so fast, so rapidly in the United States here. Yeah. T. Michael. Home prices vary. There you go. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I wish I knew. Yeah, I wish I could just, like, you know, rattle off. You know, it's just, prices always change. Just like Antiques Roadshow. Sometimes things, one year it'll be worth more than the market fluctuates. Wait a few years, there'll be a recession. You just got to have capital when no one else does. But here's, this is Webster Street. Webster Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Let's head over to Dayton Street. Dayton Street, let's see if we can see this keyhole window building. Look at this nice, that's just a corner apartment building. Has probably 1-2 bedroom apartments in it, or studios even. This is Webster Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago, 70 degrees. We got 1246. We'll end up at Oz Park, which is perfect because then I can pick up some drinks there at the store. Here's look at that. Look at the stained glass windows. Webster Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Look, they got the flag there. The lights filtering through the trees. Look at the window boxes. Just classic vintage urban design. Very walkable. That's what makes it so expensive and charming. Same with Old Town. You can go to Hyde Park, Kenwood on the south side. There's streets on the west side that have these tree lines. A lot of them we've lost, been torn down. See, this is a infill. They took 2 lots and they built this giant modernist thing on Webster, and a lot of that happened. That happened more in like Ukrainian Village. A lot of tear down rebuilds. Wicker Park. That's why Pilsen's successfully resisting gentrification. They don't want that to happen there. Here's Webster and Dayton, so let's head up Dayton Street here. Sometimes we walk down Dayton Street Halloween time. They got some nice Christmas decorations. Cubs versus the Angels. Thanks, Taco. Yeah, it looks ugly. See, different strokes for different folks. See, this real estate shouldn't be as valuable as this. I agree. You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Look at artwork. Look how subjective artwork is. People pay millions of dollars for something that I think's ugly. You know, here's see how they got that on the roof there. I wonder if you can go up on the roof there. It's like a railing. This is Dayton Street. Bella Lambie T. Yeah. Thanks the rain. Thanks for lunch money. I appreciate it. Thanks so much for supporting good content. And look at this beautiful porch here. We'll support you by showing this beautiful architecture here on Dayton Street. Yeah. Lincoln Park, Chicago. Look at that. Here are the cicadas. Look at the hat. Got the curve. See, they got this interesting garden here. And this is the one. This is why I came over here. This is Dayton Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. They got the keyhole windows here. They got this round window And then they got, that's what I call keyhole windows, and Jennifer You Should Eat calls them that too, because they looks like a skeleton key, the old keys. And then the round window. And then you got these gray stones. Beautiful tree-lined street here, Dayton Street. Look at that. Thanks, the rain. Really appreciate it. Thanks for the support. Yeah, so this is not Art Deco. I can understand why you might think that piece of the curves. This was built before Art Deco was an architectural style. This was probably built in the 1890s, and we can research it. It's similar to the building on Dearborn Street in the Gold Coast, the Moorish Revival one that we always film and has the server. That was built in the 1890s as well. So that's when that style was popular. People paid extra money for that round window piece. Think of the artisans, the brick layers, and the people had to make the terracotta, the Northwestern Terracotta Company and other places. The cornice, it's a lot of maintenance, and that's why. You could fault it it is gentrified. We priced out. There was a Puerto Rican community, the Sheffield neighborhood, and this all happened in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And Cabrini Green was torn down, and the city made these historic districts so people would invest in these buildings to maintain them, and the real estate would accrue, and the tax increment financing, and then they could tax them as their real estate value grew and increase the tax base. All cities do this. I didn't do it. I didn't start the fire. It was always burning, country boys like me, I moved to the big bad city. I thought I was hot stuff because I could barely afford a studio apartment in an expensive gentrified neighborhood. And the city was just laughing at me because that's what they get people that didn't grow up in Chicago to move to Chicago, drive up real estate prices, which is why we got all these Chicago gatekeepers, which rightly, one of the first questions they ask is, so are you born in Chicago? I'm like, no, I moved here in 1999. And they're like, you're the problem. I'm like, I'm just part of the problem. But if you don't like gentrification, you don't like capitalism, which is good. That's good, because capitalism has positives and negatives. Capitalism has winners and losers. So does socialism. Socialism has problems too. So sometimes it's better to have a mixed economy, because then we take problems from both and try to offset the negatives with the positives from each. There's enough money to go around. Take money from the top and recirculate the bottom, even though people don't, maybe they might not deserve it at the bottom, but it keeps people from living on the street, because then people complain about that. I'm tired of stepping over all these people. My stock market's at all-time high, but why is there still people living on the street? I'm losing my mind here. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. Belton Street here. So I've already gone too far here. Yeah, we'll end it on that nice commercial strip. We'll go down, since I've already walked up here, we'll go down Lincoln, that nice DePaul commercial strip there on Lincoln with the bars and the restaurants, and we'll end it at the Tin Man statue in Oz Park. We'll end it at the Tin Man statue and the Scarecrow and all that. Okay, so when I was in college, I had a co-op program, so I worked for the city of Dayton as an intern, and I worked for a development consultant company. It was true engineers and urban planners. We did zoning and the thing going by. We did zoning analysis and development consultant. We worked for clients that were trying to get things approved through the approval. You go to the zoning review board and stuff like that. I moved to Chicago because I wanted to get in urban design. I wanted to work for an architecture firm, because most planning firms, the architects end up doing the design work, I went to work with landscape architects that did parks, transportation, civil engineers. We did transit-oriented developments. We worked on CTA train stations and metro stations, and master planning. I worked on several master plans. So I worked for various architectural engineering firms here in Chicago over the past 26 years. I've been in Chicago for 26 years. And Chicago, fortunately, is still a center for engineering and architecture and construction firms. A lot of the firms go back there. We still have like Halliburton. You can work for Halliburton Root. They're still around. They've been around for hundreds of years. There's still a legacy. Wright Associates. It's in the Rookery. No. I think it's in the Marquette building. The Marquette building with that beautiful lobby that we show, or the mosaics to the Joliet and Marquette expedition. It's on Dearborn Street, right across from the Federal Plaza there. But here we're on Belton Street. We'll head right back to Belton and Burling. See, this is Burling. So here, I can head a little bit down Burling. I know someone was asking about Burling. Yeah, let's head down Burling because it'll take us right down to the Dorothy statue in Oz Park, and then we can walk through Oz Park past the Scarecrow and into at the Tin Man. Yeah, this is a good suggestion. Burling is a beautiful street. They got, just like Fremont Street, have a stretch of row houses here, and then you got single family residential infill. And awesome trees there, yeah. Yeah, this is Chicago. So what's Casper saying? I almost don't want to look. Let's see here. Yeah, things are messed up. So here, there's look at that. Look at those row houses here. So what's that? They're working on that. Is that new? I think that's new construction. I think this is new construction. This is a new residential. There is new buildings being built where the Cynical was near here as well. There is new construction going on, residential, in this area. Even with what people perceive as high interest rates, they're not as high as they were in the 80s. But here's, this is Burling Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. What a beautiful day here. Yeah, look at these row houses, Italian 8. I would argue there's enough money to go around for the veterans that are homeless. We should dedicate more resources to that, and maybe less to the migrant homeless shelters. I agree, there's a point to be made there. But if there's money for that, because a lot of our money is based on debt, goes on a national debt anyway, just like our defense spending for military industrial complex. They didn't cut that budget, and a lot of that still goes to SpaceX and Tesla and subsidies for electronic cars. What would you cut first? I know they're already cutting stuff, so they're cutting grandma's Medicaid. I understand what they're cutting. Does that anger you as much? You know, that Americans' Medicaid's being cut under this administration. You know, this we can go tit for tat if you want to get down into the weeds there. Everybody has different priorities. I know. I understand them. Migrant crisis. You know, I live in Chicago. Abbott's been shipping them our way strategically for years. So there is a real crisis at the border, and then there's the manufacturer crisis of transporting throughout the United States and dumping them on big cities, so we can prove that big cities are big, evil sanctuary cities, and you can look down upon us and feel superior. Whatever you need to do to feel good about yourself, do. Look at this yard here. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that coach house. Look at the wall of ivy. Look, I gotta get back to show this. Look how much ivy's on. People that know brick, ivy's not good for the mortar, but you know, like tuck pointing and stuff like that. Look how this would be like a romantic's dream, you know. You could have like Liszt, they're playing like, or Chopin playing like a romantic, you know, nocturne there, you know. Look at that. That's amazing, because they always show those overgrown churches, the romantics, you know. Yeah. This is Burling Street. Here, let's head over here. This is Oz Park. Yeah, it's peaceful. Thank you there. Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks Closery Travell. Yeah, Jason, how you doing there? Yeah, Chicago's got some good food there. Yeah. Well, that's it. I think a lot of people, I discovered that, and I realized how, there's a garbage truck away. I realized how fortunate and blessed and appreciative I am that I can live in such a beautiful surroundings here in Chicago, because you're right. There are vast areas of Chicago that are impoverished, blighted, serious need of repair. And I know that's probably what some people want to see, and they get very it provokes a natural reaction where they're like, why are you showing this over, and it just happens to be, this is the area where I live, and I don't have a car, and I walk to work, and I walk downtown, so I'm always filming the gleaming corporate skyscrapers, even though I'm betting against them in the stock market. You're allowed to do that. And I'm a martyr for my own conscience. It's not a successful business strategy. It's just so I can feel superior in my own mind while I'm losing money because I don't want to invest in what they already own. So I guess it's like masochistic. It's like self-flagellation for penance. Here's Dorothy and Toto. Here's Dorothy and Toto, Oz Park. And see, these are what the Divvy bikes are. Everybody keeps thinking I say Diddy, but it's D-I-V-V-Y. Who came up with that name? I don't know why they came up with that marketing name, but it was probably the last internet domain they could get. But here's Dorothy and Toto. This is Oz Park. This is a John Kearney statue, one of the last ones he did, and it's made out of bronze here. You can see they got the nice park here. We'll walk through Oz Park here. Hey, come. People find me in the street, you're welcome to, if we run across each other, you're welcome to walk along here. I'm not in the business of doing tours yet. I might have to resort to that if I lose my day job, but this is a type of tour too. This is a type of tour where more people can participate in it easier by just simply watching the screen. You can kind of get a feel for what it feels like to walk through the neighborhood. I got great moderators. We try to keep a civil discourse and not get distracted, mainly for me, and great help. And we'll continue to stream more on YouTube. I am on TikTok, but you don't have to worry about that for now. And everything runs its natural course. Isn't it amazing that a strange consequence of me being banned on TikTok before, and that happens to all people, a lot of Jerry Monroe and stuff, is you realize I can start over on another platform. And they've actually, I probably wouldn't have this presence on YouTube if TikTok didn't ban me the first time. So thank you, TikTok, for banning me when I had 38,000 there. So I started my YouTube, and we grew over 1,000 in the last month here. Here, let's go through. See, there's the new playground. They redid it because there was a rat infestation under it was like AstroTurf under the old playground. It was an old wooden. It was probably good that they changed it because I was always like, how did people didn't get splinters on a wooden playground? But now it's all this new material, very expensive to playground equipment, and the liability is immense, as you can imagine, for the city. But there's police there. So this is Oz Park, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Lincoln Park High School is over there. They got these John Kearney statues. And he was known for making animalistic sculptures out of chrome bumper parts, like the Tin Man, who's not an animal, but we see the horses and the giraffes and the other things throughout the city. Yeah, that's good. Back for a few minutes. Thanks. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up here. So thanks for coming back here. We'll show you the Scarecrow here in Lincoln Park. See, he's got his diploma there. The wizard didn't give him nothing, just like the Tin Man. The Tin Man always had his heart. Scarecrow always had his brains, just had to believe in himself. And Thinkology, doctor of Thinkology, he's got his diploma. There's the Scarecrow, another John Kearney statue. And this one's made out of bronze. And we'll show you the Tin Man, probably the most well-known. The Cowardly Lion's over there. I'm too lazy to go down there. But see, this is called the Emerald Gardens here. Yeah, they should make the brick yellow, I know. And here we'll show the Tin Man here. They actually have a service. You get paid doing this. VRBO experiences. Hey, I'll look into that. Thanks for the good info. And I'm fortunate that a lot of what I live stream, and I'll be doing more of it on YouTube, is just walking to and from work. I would be walking that way anyway, and we go through some interesting areas, but then people get tired of seeing the same areas. They want to see other areas of the city. But most of it's just, I'm just walking to and from work, and we walk past the lake, we walk past Lincoln Park, and Old Town and Gold Coast and Michigan Avenue, and people want to see that stuff. Here's the Tin Man. Here's the Tin Man in Oz Park. There it is. John Kearney statue here. This was the first one. It's been here since 1995, and it's on the, you can see it from Lincoln Avenue as you drive by, and Webster and Larrabee. And hey, they're having a fight there. But hey, there's the Tin Man, Oz Park. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Of course, you can tell everybody that I'm going to be streaming more on YouTube. You're in the right place. Thanks for the gifts, likes, and follows. Lorraine, thanks for the support, and everybody else for the gifts. And Chris and Anita and everybody in Taco Jalapeno Salsa, thanks for helping me out there, and everybody else. And Mary Therese, Shauna, everybody, Natalie. And we'll see you all later there. Don't be lazy. Show us the Tin Man. There you go. There it is. So hey, have a good night. Have a good day. I won't be on TikTok tonight. I'm gonna take the night off here. So hey, I'll be able to stream more tomorrow. We'll do the. We'll try this weekend. We'll try to get to the House Music Festival in Millennium Park, probably on Saturday, in the Greek Fest there. So talk to you later. Have a good day. I'll check the weather. We'll see what's the best weather day. Thanks a lot, everybody.